The video you're going to watch right now is about developing skill with rhetoric, and I'm going to introduce you to something called the rhetorical triangle. So let's get started. Now, first of all, the key to being a good rhetor, which is a writer or reader who can make competent and wise decisions about word choice and pull meaning out of what he or she reads, is to look at the rhetorical activity, whether that is creating a text that you hope will be meaningful, purposeful, and effective for a reader, or reading a text so that it becomes meaningful, purposeful, and effective for you as a triangle. Now, this is a triangle. I'm going to show you how if you use this in your mind as you're reading or writing, it can make you get a lot more meaning out of what you read or help you write things that are much more meaningful to the reader. You need to consider these three things: the subject and the kinds of evidence that were used to develop the subject, the audience, understanding their knowledge, ideas, attitudes, and beliefs, and the character of the rhetor. That's you. In particular, how can the rhetor, you, use your own personal character in the text? And these are three things to keep in mind. This is how a writer develops a style and a voice and is able to connect with their audience. And conversely, this is how a reader is able to read something that someone else has written and pull the maximum amount of meaning out of it and really understand the reasoning behind what was written. So we're going to look at this triangle. It's sometimes called the Aristotelian triad because Aristotle, a Greek philosopher, is the one who originally envisioned this idea. So if you look at our triangle here, you can see that it's got 3 points. One is speaker or writer, one is subject, and one is audience or reader. And I want you to pay attention to how those are connected and how they're fluid. And we can't just focus on one at a time. We have to continually move around the triangle as we read or write in order to grasp the most meaning or to write the most meaningful and purposeful papers that we can. So here's what I want you to notice. The triangle has arrows from one point to another, and these arrows go both ways. That's what I was talking about. We need to be fluid. It's got to go back and forth, all different directions, continuously, so that the most meaning and purpose is pulled out of everything that we do. These arrows show the dynamic nature of the rhetorical act. That's what I was just telling you. It also shows us that the rhetor, that's you, understands something about the audience, who they are, and what they know. And they also show that understanding that makes the rhetor highlight certain elements of character and personality and downplay others. This is a very simple matter of when you set out to write something or give a speech, you need to understand your audience, and you need to make sure that the things that you write or the things that you say are going to be the most effective for that audience. The rhetor, that's you, is going to create a persona. Now, this sounds like it could be something in fiction, but it also works in nonfiction. What you're doing is you're literally making a mask, but figuratively, it's a character that the audience perceives behind the text. It's like they can almost hear you thinking or hear you speaking, even if all they're doing is reading what you've written. This is going to be based part on who the rhetor presumes the audience to be. And it's also going to be based in part on what the rhetor, that's you, already knows and believes about the subject of the text. So you are almost becoming another person when you write because you want to put forth something that's going to be the most effective when somebody reads this or when you give a speech when someone hears this. Now, conversely, the members of the audience are part of this as well because they hold some beliefs that's based on knowledge or past experience about the rhetor and about the subject. They tap into these beliefs as they listen or read, and this colors their experience. They also use their ability to reason, and that means to put together evidence logically. And they're persuaded by the strength of the evidence presented about the subject. So they're a part of the process also, which is why it's so important that you consider who your audience is anytime you set out to write or to give a speech. Now, in coming up videos, I'm going to show you 6 keys to developing skill with rhetoric, and it's based on this rhetorical triangle. So we're going to do understanding persona, understanding appeals to an audience, which we've touched on already, understanding subjects, understanding context, understanding intention, and understanding genre. So those are things that we're going to be talking about in upcoming videos that are really going to help make your writing even stronger.